Hello and welcome into the Fan Speak Network. I am your host, Justin Bruni. Joining me, as always, is my co-host and partner, Mr. Andrew, the TD King. Rob, how are we doing, sir? How did you finish up your week here?
Good, man. Good. Golfed once again today. Golfed
Mm.
yesterday. Golfed today. You obviously see I got a little sun going on here. But yeah, man. Good overall week. Ready to dive into some buy or sells in the later rounds. The ones that can really make you money because just like last year, Puka, the end of drafts. Don't think we're gonna get any Pukas right this year, but he helped people advance a ton. So these late round guys are very important no matter what anybody thinks. So let's dive into it and see if we can't help the people win some money.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at some late round stacking opportunities, some late round correlations, some teams that just have good overall stacking opportunities for their teams. We'll see if there's any correlation in between the plausible rounds like 14, 15, 16, 17. If you can also do some stacking with some players in that area for some week 17 correlation. The players that we're going to be covering are players available in rounds 14 through 18, and we're going through each team. So leading off here, we've got the Buffalo Bills, Ray Davis coming off the board in round 14, and then we've got 3 round 18 picks. Not seeing a lot of Chase Claypool drafted, not seeing a lot of MVS drafted, very little to minimal Dawson Knox I've seen drafted. What are your thoughts about this group here, Andrew?
Yeah, obviously Ray Davis gets drafted, but I've seen a little bit of Knox and a little bit of Claypool. I don't think I've seen any MVS yet. I mean, i- the Bills are a team that I can't really sit here and say that any of these guys aren't valuable just because of it's the Buffalo Bills. They're going to put up points. You got Josh Allen at the helm. Some of these guys are probably going to have a couple of weeks where they're viable plays. So
Mhm.
I would say that, I'm not really going to, kill anybody for wanting to stack any of these guys with Josh Allen. I don't think personally I would take any of these guys if I'm not stacking, or I guess maybe a week 17 correlation if you want to be a little unique. But Claypool's interesting just because of all the stuff that we've heard out of, camp so far and, OTAs that he's looked sharp and has been a very impressive wide receiver. So he's
Mhm.
probably the one, out of those bottom 3 guys that is a interesting pick. I don't really think I want to go too heavy on any of them, to be honest, again, without a stack. But Ray Davis, man, if the Bills actually drafted a guy and he ends up being what they've been trying to fill for years now, as a goal line back where Josh Allen doesn't need to be the guy, he could be
Mhm.
very valuable in round 14. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, man, I think that they're okay picks just because, they're on the Bills.
I have not drafted any of these guys, not even Ray Davis yet. So have no exposure to the back end of the Buffalo Bills, more so front heavy. I really don't have anything to add. I mean, I don't. Do we see a situation where we're drafting Chase Claypool? I don't really think so. I'm not sure if there's going to be enough coach speak or training camp hype that's going to be able to get us to draft him with any regularity. Maybe you take a few shots on him. I certainly learned my lesson last year. Had a clearer path to touches last year on the Bears than he did this year, but all is well. All is well. Yeah, nothing really else to add there. I don't have any shares of these guys, like I said, and I'm not looking to pair any of them up together. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, I've got Allen. I'm going to go ahead and get Ray Davis and Dawson Knox on my 14th and my last pick in Dawson Knox. Next up, we've got the Dolphins, Jonnu Smith coming off the board round 17. Same for OBJ. And then you've got a couple of late round options of Malik Washington and Durham Smythe. Have not seen Smythe drafted, have seen a ton of Jonnu drafted, some OBJ, some Malik Washington. I've drafted a fair amount of Jonnu Smith and some sprinkles here and there of OBJ. And that's just because I've seen the big Tua falls. When I'm getting Tua Tagovailoa 15, 20 plus picks after ADP, cool. That's fair. Yeah, I'll just back that up with a Jonnu Smith pick, an Odell Beckham Jr. pick, and I have really no issue with it. I don't know how many spike weeks are going to be available for these guys in OBJ or Malik Washington. You're just connecting yourself to an offense that's going to score a lot of points. Jonnu Smith has a path to production, just being a top of the depth chart guy. I don't know if they go out and add another tight end. Like if they go out and add Logan Thomas, I don't think there's a necessity for it for them to go out and get a guy like that. So that being said, he should see a fair amount of snaps, fair amount of production opportunities. I'll take that shot in round 17 here. Anything to add? Any objections, Andrew?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm not drafting Smythe. I'd rather just be wrong if he ends up being something there. But I will take shots on all the rest of the guys, especially in Tua stacks. Again, or any playoff correlation that you want to add in there. Malik Washington's very interesting because I think he has the talent to win out over OBJ. Not saying OBJ, isn't talented, but I mean,
Mhm.
we kind of know what OBJ is. Now, with that said, I mean, we know he's a diva. He's probably going to be begging for targets, right? If he's not getting them, he's going to let the team know that he needs to be used a little bit more. So he's interesting. But Jonnu, I have no problem with Jonnu. Again, I think that the Dolphins could use use a viable tight end, and he could be that guy. So I have no problem drafting any of those top three guys. I do prefer to have them as a stack. I don't really want to take these guys without some sort of Dolphins correlation in there.
Mhm.
But I will tell you, I think I'd rather take Malik Washington over OBJ if I am going to just take a random one of these guys at the end of the drafts, uncorrelated. I'll take the shot on Washington over OBJ just for talent purposes, and they obviously drafted him for a reason, so he could
Mhm.
be interesting. But yeah, I'm fine with any of the top three guys.
Yeah, agreed. And like I said, I am okay, doing two of these guys together, like Janu and OBJ or Janu and Malik, if
What?
you do get Tua and you're getting him after ADP and that option's opening up for you. I wouldn't
So
want to do it without that type of stacking or that correlation.
yeah, so would you be fine just taking OBJ and Malik Washington as your last two wide receiver picks and seeing if you can get one guy that would give
Yeah,
you some points? Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm fine with that too.
We've talked about that before in a recent draft. I did Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims Jr. as my last two
Right.
picks. This is a
Yep.
very similar scenario, and actually a little bit better because it's an offense that scores a lot more points. It's in scoring territory more so. So it's a
Yep.
better example, if anything, of going with that type of approach. All right, next up we have the New England Patriots. We've got 5 guys up here available in rounds 14 through 18 that are actively being drafted. Antonio Gibson and Hunter Henry in round 14, Demario Douglas in round 15, Javon Baker round 16, and of course, new NFL rookie Drake May round 17 here. I have been getting a little bit more Gibson, but as I'm a Gibson guy. I've always been banging that drum. I've never been that excited about Hunter Henry since he left the Chargers. Even when he's performed well, he's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to get up for his ADP. And I'm mixing in just shots of Demario Douglas and Javon Baker, and not really so much Drake May at all. But what I do like and why I feel like this group is of value is because you're getting a potential starting quarterback, running back, tight end, and receiver for week 17. I mean, if there's going to be a quarterback for the Patriots playing in week 17, I'll put a fair amount of money that it's going to be Drake May, no matter what the season looks like. One of those receivers, yeah, yeah. Can you say one way or the other who it's going to be? I don't think so. So you're really just picking your poison, and you probably just take the better value in Baker. But I mean, either way, again, it's one pick, it's one round, and it's round 15 and 16. It doesn't matter. And Gibson and Henry, again, players that aren't going to blow you away production wise, but could have a spike in week 17. I believe the Patriots get the Chargers and they're at home. So if Antonio Gibson is the last man standing, if all of those receivers got hurt and Hunter Henry's the last man standing, you could be in a good position with also a last round quarterback in Drake May. So not very valuable players overall, but if you are looking for some late round leverage to be a little bit more unique, it really does make this group a little bit more valuable than what the curb appeal may say.
Agreed. Gibson is an interesting target if you go zero RB, just because of the role he's probably going to have and how your team's probably looking at that point. So Gibson, I prefer to take it on more of a zero RB approach. Hunter Henry, I'm fine getting. I think on Underdog, we want touchdowns, right? You're touchdown hunting, as Meg says, and I like Hunter Henry for that, for that purpose. I think that they're definitely going to use him around the goal line, within the red zone as well. So I like Hunter Henry for that. You're right. we're just taking shots on Pop Douglas and Javon Baker. I've taken more Javon Baker just because of, the unknown of that. We kind of know what Pop Douglas is. He's going to be down the field guy. That's
Mhm.
fine. But I do really think because rookie to rookie connections do happen a lot in the NFL, I think that the Javon Baker to Drake May kind of ordeal is going to be more popular than the Pop Douglas and Drake May connection. But I'm fine taking any of these guys. Really, I mean, you made it, the case for them as they're late round guys. They're not going to
Mhm.
kill you, and it's a really easy if you get sniped on some stacks or get pushed out of something you were trying to do. This is a nice way to recover and just grab a couple of these guys and hope that they help you, in the playoffs.
Also available beyond Drake May, Kendrick Bourne, Juju Smith-Schuster. They're still there. They're still available. So if
Pass.
you want to keep digging down the board, there are more Patriot options.
Yeah.
All right, here for the Jets, we've got 4 key players going from rounds 14 through 18. We've got Aaron Rodgers and Malachi Corley. Nice little stack you can get in round 14, beginning of 15. Ty Conklin in round 15 as well. Another opportunity if you miss on Corley. And Braylon Allen, it actually has his ADP at round 16, which is interesting because typically he was set up in round 18 and he was getting drafted in round 17. His stock was rising. So it seems to be climbing even more so in recent weeks here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he's a last-ditch effort for a quarterback, and the Jets provide you a last-ditch effort to get a nice little stack, right? Like if
Yep.
you missed on QB, this is maybe an area where you want to make up for it, right? Maybe you have 6 or 7 receivers and you can pop in Corley. Maybe you went elite tight end up front instead of elite QB, and you have like a Trey McBride or a Mark Andrews. And you know what? Let's just put Ty Conklin in there, some guy to stave off some bye week action. And oh, hey, I can get him with Aaron Rodgers. And Braylon Allen right now appears to be one of the more valuable handcuffs in the NFL. It doesn't seem like they're going to continue shopping for running back. And that's a very important position just based on the way the Jets do use Breece Hall. It just means that they have to have the next guy up that can take that type of workload and do similar things to Breece. So very good situation. I like all of these guys. Malachi Corley may be even more underrated than we think. It sounds like he's getting a little bit more juice, a little bit more gas in camp, and could easily take over Xavier Gibson for that third wide receiver spot.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Rodgers bunking with Corley for a little bit? I think that they had some sort of connection going on there. So, that's definitely underrated. But I agree with everything you said. These are awesome stacks to get towards the late rounds here. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I'm taking all of these guys. I've taken plenty of Corley. I've definitely taken a bunch of Allen now as well. I think Allen is definitely a primo backup, running back in the NFL. He was very
Mm.
good in college. Probably, if I go back and look, I know I drafted him a ton in the big board and the rookie sophomores before the draft season. So kind of sucked where he landed. But man, I mean, if Breece Hall goes down, Braylon Allen is going to be tremendous. So love all these guys. Great late round guys.
No, and like I said, it's a valuable team option just because, again, nice last ditch effort for a QB receiver or even tight end stack or even running back. I guess if you just wind up with Braylon Allen and Aaron Rodgers, I think you probably want to do better there. Also, Alan Lazard also available back there past the edges of 215, pick 220. Let's see. Next up, we do have the Dallas Cowboys. So we've got
Boo. Sorry.
Jalen Tolbert in round 17, Deuce Vaughn round 18, and I threw in Cavante Turbin just because he did have some flashy spike production throughout the 2023 season.
Yep.
I do not see him actively being drafted, but I wanted to throw in a third option here just because the Cowboys offense, hate it or love it, Andrew, they score a lot of points, right? Like they're a very friendly fantasy football team to target for player options. I have very little exposure to Tolbert and none to Vaughn or Turbin. It just isn't a very good value for late round here with the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm really only taking Turbin out of these guys. I don't care if I'm wrong on
Really?
the other guys.
Have you
I'm sorry,
drafted some
Tolbert.
Turbin?
Sorry, Tolbert. I meant Tolbert. I
Oh,
said
okay. I was
Turbin.
gonna
I was
say, I
looking
was
at
like,
his name. Yeah, no. Pass.
goodness, Betsy. You had me there.
No, I'll take Tolbert. I think that's a good pick, especially with Gallup out of the way, and really it's only Lamb and Cooks there. So I'll take Tolbert.
Okay.
I did want to ask you though. I know you don't have him on here, but Luke Schoonmaker, second
Nah.
year guy now.
Eh,
behind Ferguson. Love Ferguson. Don't get me
eh.
wrong, but if Ferguson goes down, I feel like the Dallas tight end is a very valuable thing to have. Would you be interested in Schoonmaker at all in any draft? I think it would only be stacked with
I
Dak.
think I
Any
think they go and find Jimmy Graham wherever he's at on a kayak, and I feel like they bring him in.
okay,
I don't know. I just think Luke Schoonmaker. I'm trying to think. I'd rather have Gerald Everett. If we're talking backup tight ends, you know what I mean. Like if there's an argument for a backup tight end, I got about like 8 more for you somewhere else. You know what I mean. I'd rather have Isaiah Likely. If we're ranking our backup tight ends, you know what I mean.
okay.
So we're sprinkling Jalen Tolbert, not much else. I think there might be some steam ahead for Deuce Vaughn once we get a clear idea of his health. There was some talk about him getting actually used in the slot, which could be interesting. If they're not going to add another receiver in free agency, which they've also been talking about. Next up, we have the New York Giants. We've got Wan'Dale Robinson in round 15, Tyrone Tracy Jr. in 17 with Dan Jones, and then Darius Slayton and Jalen Hyatt in round 18. A very valuable team stacking opportunity here in the late rounds with the New York Giants. 5 options going from rounds 14 through 18, and you don't even have there are 2 potential starting tight ends on here in Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger. So a ton of late round opportunity for the Giants, making them a very valuable team to target for late round stacking opportunities. I think we have a fair amount of all of these guys. No, I mean, I don't have a share of Jalen Hyatt, but I'm definitely willing to get a small amount, like 2 or 3% of Jalen Hyatt. But I'm okay grabbing Robinson, Tracy, Jones, Slayton, and it's typically because similar to like the Jets, I missed out somewhere in my draft, and I'm going to make up for it with some late round leveraging. They're going to get the Colts, I believe, in week 17, and it's at home. Nothing really moves the needle there as far as value wise, but just the fact that you can get 3, 4 if you want to. I don't think you want to go that far with the potential production that the Giants are going to get, but like 3 pretty good starters for the Giants with your last 3 picks, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to. This is a team that I've just kind of been sitting and waiting to see what happens with OTAs and camp. I kind of want to see who's running with who. What's going on with the packages. Who's taking the outside more, who's playing the slot a little bit more. So the guy I've drafted most here overall is Tyrone Tracy. But
Okay.
out of the receivers, I've taken Jalen Hyatt the most. I just think that
Okay.
his upside for playmaking ability is higher than Slayton and Robinson. I would prefer Robinson over Slayton if I'm choosing between the two, even with the 3-round difference. I'll still take Robinson there, but Hyatt's my favorite guy just to take at the end of the draft out of any of these guys. And I've not taken any Danny Nichols here, but I would, like you said, if you really get pushed out and you're in a tight spot, this is an easy stack to take.
Didn't Slayton have like 100+ yards in week 17 last year
Mm, don't know, to be honest.
and a couple of touchdowns? I'm pretty sure he was a week 17 savior in 2023. Not to say that he's going to do so again, but can also be a flashy player. I hear what you're saying about Jalen Hyatt. I think maybe just the recency bias or that trust is there for Slayton, and then also just the draft capital from Wandell. Again, really good group, valuable group, I'll say. Definitely more so than some of these other teams, like like the Cowboys that we just observed, and the Eagles now. Like there's nothing here. Will Shipley, Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, it's the beauty of the beast, right? Like it's the Eagles' offense scores a lot of points. Everybody's really valuable. There's no one really. I mean, are you drafting Shipley or Kenny Gainwell outside of like, oh, I have Saquon?
No. I did grab
Exactly.
Shipley in the big board a little bit, not knowing what was going to happen there.
Hmm.
Kenny Gainwell is listed as the backup, so right now I'd probably want to take Gainwell there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really drafting either one of those guys.
Yeah, not a very valuable team for obviously late round stacking opportunities. You'd have to be, really taking some deep shots for their wide receivers. They could add a veteran receiver. Very little to no shakeup going to happen back there. You're getting all your Eagles up front.
Johnny Wilson, just honorable mention. Interesting to me. if Devontae Smith or whatnot goes down, I think he would probably be the best fit for that role. And not saying to take him a lot. I might take him maybe twice in the entire time that, if I have a Hurts stack,
Mhm.
something of that nature. But he's at least interesting. That's somebody I'm watching come camp season here.
I'm still just more on the side that whenever there's an injury, unless you have multiple, the tides rise for all the other boats. That's it. Like, Goddard's numbers goes up, Brown's numbers exposure gets higher. You get more inclusion of Hertz, more Barkley. I just feel like it just goes up for everybody else, and that's kind of what we've seen, in the past couple of years. Like when we've seen an interchange in Goddard and Devonta Smith's availability, when one has gone down, the other's production has
Here,
gone up.
Here's interesting. So a tweet by Jacob Gibbs. When both were on the field at Florida State in 2023, Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman. Okay, Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman targets 68. Johnny Wilson 48. Keon Coleman receiving yards 584. Wilson 304. Coleman. For whatever that's worth. Not saying Johnny Wilson is anything like Keon Coleman. I really like Keon Coleman. Don't get me wrong, but it is just interesting to see the difference between the two when they were both on the field at the same time for Florida State.
No, there you go. You want to take your round 18 pick, Johnny Wilson, get him into some Eagles builds. Next up, we have the Commanders. We've got Ben Sinnott, way overdrafted at round 14. Luke McCaffrey, round 16, also feels a bit high. And Zach Ertz at round 18. I've taken some free Zach Ertz every now. If I'm desperate and I need a third tight end, dare I even say a fourth tight end, I'll pop in some Zach Ertz. I don't mind.
Yeah, man. I really hope Sinnott comes back down a little. I hope he goes down the board. I do want to draft him, but I mean, it's becoming better. It was higher. It's becoming better. I'll take
They're
shots on
they're
all.
they're both going to balance out to like a round 16, round 17 pick probably. They're going to go like in the same, ADP at some point.
Yeah, and like I don't mind taking any of these guys, honestly. I think McCaffrey has a good shot at being the 3. I don't think he's going to pass Dotson this year. In the future, maybe, but I don't think he's going to pass Dotson. He's definitely not passing McLaurin, obviously. But
Yeah,
I'll take
but
shots on Sonat and Ertz as well.
it's tough for me to buy into Luke McCaffrey as the 3 on an offense that's going to run the ball a lot. That you have 2 running backs they're going to use a ton of, a rushing QB, McLaurin, Dotson. I just don't know what's left. I just don't know what's left for him outside of after an injury.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you there. I'm not saying to take him, but like I'm fine taking him.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I've taken him as like my last receiver in an 8 receiver build, where I have Daniels or I have like the Falcons, and I want a Week 17 correlation that might be a little bit more unique. So I'm fine taking any of them, but yeah, in agreement, it's probably not somebody that you really want to be overly exposed on because they are going to run the ball a lot.
Exactly. And the Commanders, again, also not a very valuable late round stacking opportunity team. You can mix in one of those guys with a Daniels or McLaurin or a Dotson, but that's all it is. It's just maybe a little extra sprinkle at the end of your draft, a tie that you may go in favor to that stack. I believe they get Atlanta in week
Yes.
17. I'm
Yep.
not sure what that is for DC. Like it's a game they're probably playing from behind. So maybe that's good for game script. So maybe that is a little bit better of a, like the tie goes to the runner for the for the stacking opportunity. Ravens, quite a few here. Rashad Bateman kicking it off round 14, Isaiah Likely 16, Devontae Walker 17, Keaton Mitchell and Rasheen Ali both in round 18. I've seen both of those back end running backs go. I just don't believe anyone is aware of who is going to be the top running back behind Derrick Henry. I think it could still be Justice Hill, who's also going after this ADP, who's not on this list. Devontae Walker is one of my top sleepers this year. He's someone that I'm targeting quite a bit. I like him more than Rashad Bateman just based on the value. And then Isaiah Likely, like you had kind of talked about, backup tight ends. He's the one that you want to go with, at least the proven and true Isaiah Likely. I don't know if there's another better backup tight end in the league other than Trey McBride from last year. I mean, you're really only getting these guys if you have drafted some Ravens. I don't think you're getting any of them naked. I don't think they're incredibly valuable.
I'll take
I
Walker.
like that's what I was about to say is I like Walker a lot. He's one of my top sleepers, but that's about it. And it's only because it's the guy that I could see taking over that receiver stable, by week, 15, If there was a Flowers injury, if there was an Andrews injury, if one of the running backs got hurt, I would very much trust Devontae Walker. So, don't want to take multiple of these guys. I'll tell you that. Don't need to take Bateman and Walker together. Don't need to take Bateman and likely, even if I have Lamar. I just think they're all of enough risk that there's no need to double dip here.
Yeah, I mean, not too much to add here. I'm actually okay taking as my if I want to take the last two guys on my wide receiver. You know, if I have or if I'm going for 8 wide receivers, I'm actually all right taking Bateman and Walker. I don't mind that personally. I'm also probably gonna just dip in a little of all these guys. The Ravens' offense is valuable, even though it's a run first offense. Still think it's valuable. Um, and I've seen on Twitter more people talk about Rasheen Ali as of late, so he's more interesting to me now, I guess as well. I've taken a little bit of Keaton Mitchell. I've not taken any likely yet, but I do plan on doing so. But I think all these guys can be valuable in the right situation due to the offense and the nature of how the Ravens play ball. But yeah, I don't want to be too overly exposed to anybody here outside of maybe Walker and Bateman.
All right. Next up, we've got the Bengals. Not very valuable here. We've got Mike Gesicki and Andre Losivas. Was taking Losivas in the big board, not so much anymore.
Yep.
Mike Gesicki is just a desperation play, whether you have Joe Burrow or not.
Yeah, I mean, and I know
Pretty
they have.
straightforward with this one.
Yeah, they have. Oh my God, what's Tanner Hudson? The other tight
Tanner
end.
Hudson. Yeah, I was taking a lot of Tanner
Yeah,
Hudson in the big board as well. Again,
yeah,
not so much anymore.
yeah.
Uh,
In agreement. I'll take Gesicki every now and again with a Bengal stack or a correlation if I
mhm.
need a third tight end and I want to take that route. But yeah, I don't really want to take these guys personally.
So again, when you're starting your Bengals builds, just realize there's no one there to save you in the back of your draft. Be mindful of them early on.
Yes.
Next up, we have the Steelers. Roman Wilson. It's a round 13 push, meaning that their ADP puts them at the very end of round 13 and into 14. So a very common fall puts Roman Wilson in round 14, which I believe is of value. I'm targeting a lot of Roman Wilson. And then pick your QB. And, Andrew, we've been talking about like kind of that double receiver approach. I don't hate doing an elite QB and backing it up with these two right here in Fields and Wilson.
Interesting. I'm gonna let you live on that island by yourself. I'm not doing
I'm
that.
okay with
I'll
that.
take I'll take one of these guys and either one, honestly, but I'm not doubling up on those two. I mean, how valuable is the Steelers quarterback really going to be? Fields holds value with his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Russ holds value if he can hold the job the whole time. I don't think both of them are going to be what you want to do with your quarterback room. Um, I mean, that's just me personally. But Roman Wilson, love Roman Wilson as long as they don't add somebody. Please don't add anybody. I've already drafted a lot of Roman Wilson. But I'll tell you what. So I was in a Pug Superflex, and Fields is in the Superflex format. Fields to me is more valuable than Wilson because you have the roster spots to take 4 quarterbacks. And honestly, if you want to take Fields just for the rushing ability, I love that in a super flex. I don't love it so much when I'm trying to draft BBM personally, but in a super flex format, Fields is kind of the ideal quarterback in my eyes.
So going back to the approach, I mean, it's really no different than what we were talking about with the receivers. You still need to nail another quarterback. So for example, if you did Fields, Wilson, and Mahomes, and you got yourself just stacked up for week 17, you would be fine. Obviously, the weeks where Mahomes is your QB1 are going to be in the front end of the season, and you'd be hoping for whatever happens with the Steelers to be overly productive. Like the offense was just amazing because realistically, the offense has been stagnant with good players in recent years. The team could still be very, very good with even Russell Wilson. I think that people are kind of undervaluing him just because they still went out and got Justin Fields, when Fields could very well, be a gadget type of player and then, just be trying to earn himself a contract for the following seasons.
See, and this is why I don't like it. I mean, so here's our last 3 games, the fantasy playoffs for us, right? At Philadelphia, good defense. At Baltimore, good defense. And then home against Kansas City, also good defense. Do not love any of those. They're all outside. That's just not for me.
There's no defense that can contain Justin Fields on the ground. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's why the Bears let him go. He was so good.
He's just not as good as Bear Claw. All right, let's move on off the Steelers. We'll definitely revisit that conversation in an upcoming live draft. Deshaun Watson, Donta Foreman, and Elijah Moore for the Browns. Round 14, Watson. Round 17, Foreman. Round 18, Moore. I'm okay grabbing a couple of them. I'm good going Watson, Foreman. I'm good going Watson, Moore. I'm trying to think of maybe a receiver that was left off of here.
I mean, honestly, I think I look at it this way as to you can draft, Cooper or Njoku, whatever, and then know that you're going to be able to get Watson a lot later. So you can kind of
Yeah.
focus on another stack in between. So that's the
Mhm.
way I look at this as a late round stack is I know I can get those guys and then wait a bunch of rounds to get Watson. I'm completely fine doing that. And I actually like that. I think Watson's as QB 21 with his rushing ability, I think he's a little undervalued personally. I don't really want to take Elijah Moore or Foreman. I will. I don't really want to though. I would much rather take, Ford or Cooper, Judy, any of those guys, and then just grab Watson.
I'm okay taking Watson, just not a lot of them. I still think it's also a risky play given how bad we saw him start the year last year. He still did get hurt. Again, I'm okay taking Watson with either Foreman or Moore. It would definitely be in hopes that, like you've said, I've already drafted a Cooper or a Judy or a Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford really not that far off of round 14 either. All right, breaking
Disrespected
into
Jerome Ford. Disrespected.
Yeah, he's one of our higher exposed running backs. I know he's your top guy. I think he's like my 6th or 7th running back. So moving into the NFC North here, we've got the Chicago Bears, Khalil Herbert round 15, Roshan 16, Gerald Everett round 18. Really not much to talk about here other than the running backs. Andrew is big in the Roshan camp. I'm not anti-Roshan Johnson. I've just taken a lot more of Khalil Herbert because I do see Herbert having upside in the Bears offense and potentially somewhere else if he does get moved. There is some talk that he could get traded. It may not happen. If it doesn't, I'm okay with him working as the number 2 for the Bears, even in a competition with Roshan, just because they know what they can get out of him. They've used him a lot in the past. If he sticks around, he'll have what resembles a role, at least at some point. Hopefully he gets moved. I think he actually has more upside if he gets moved. And at that time, I still don't think that Roshan will be that much more expensive, maybe round 14. And I'll be okay at buying the backup running back for the Bears in round 14 at that time. I think Gerald Everett here is the only one that I'm not touching. I probably have at least one draft with him where I went like mega bear stack. But in general, not advising to be drafting Gerald Everett.
Yeah, Roshan's the only one I really want to draft here. I mean, he's their best, pass protector. I don't know. To me, Herbert is fun, but Roshan serves more of a purpose to the team. So he's going to see the field probably a little bit more, especially on pass downs. I mean, they don't want Caleb Williams back there getting killed, and Roshan Johnson is much better than Khalil Herbert at pass protection. So I think he's going to see the field a little bit more, which makes him more valuable of a pick to me. I also just think he's a better, overall runner. Herbert is fun though. I mean, I can't say that he's not, and I do agree with you. I hope he gets moved. That'll make him much more valuable. I've drafted 0 Herbert, drafted a ton of Roshan, and yeah, I'm not going to touch Everett for now.
Likewise. So yeah, we're both just in different camps there, but we like the situation for different reasons. Detroit Lions, very barren for late round stacking opportunities. I just don't see the value in taking a shot into Khalif Raymond.
Here's where, and I wanted to ask you this about this specifically. Khalif Raymond, I think, is better than Donovan Peoples-Jones as far as like what he can do for the Lions. Would you take, if you take JMO, and then as your last pick, would you take Raymond just to see if maybe JMO gets hurt, Raymond kind of steps into that role, or if you're a DPJ guy, whatever. Just do you think that that's an okay thing to do with this offense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really no indifferent if you take Jared Goff either. It's really the same situation. If you're just looking for some late round correlation, yeah, sure. If you got some Lions, take some Khalif Raymond if you're really that into it. I'm not. I don't think it's going to be as fruitful as you might think. Next up, we've got the Packers, Luke Musgrave, round 13 push. A nice little fall will push him into round 14. Tucker Kraft, round 18. Bo Melton and A.J. Dillon both in round 18. Bo Melton had a little bit of a nice stretch to finish the season. AJ Dillon has had his flashes with the team. Not really sure about Tucker Kraft. I know that he has an injury right now. I think that devalues him a little bit, so I think he's going to stay put. I think there could actually potentially be a little bit of a rise in cost for AJ Dillon at some point if we start getting less, positive news about Jacobs coming back from injury. Bo Melton, I don't think is going to have any value change here. Luke Musgrave is kind of one of those guys where it's just like your last ditch effort for tight end. Like he's one of those like fall off the shelf tight ends. So, not really that interested in taking him. I think we discovered the other day I had more than I thought I did of him. But it's kind of just, again, a last ditch effort thing. I know the Packers are going to put up points. He's going to be their starter. Kraft is a little bit banged up. That gives him a little bit more favorability to start the year. These aren't sexy picks. These aren't sexy options.
It's not. I like Musgrave more than you do. I'm fine taking Musgrave. I mean, when he came back onto the field last year, he was serviceable. So I like taking him as a 2 or 3 on my team. Unless something happens to Musgrave, don't really want to touch Kraft. I think he's injured currently as well. Bo Melton is like their 4 or 5 on the team. Again, unless we see some injuries happen in camp, not really going to touch him. And AJ Dillon, sorry, bud. We tried. You tried. I put you on some teams last year. It ain't happening again, brother. I'm sorry. It's just not. Marshawn Lloyd. That's who you want. Not Dylan.
Again, it just doesn't seem like a very valuable team for back end opportunities here. It's Luke Musgrave, and that's about it. Whoo! Here's a conversation piece. Here's a coffee table talk. It sounds like Sam Darnold's the guy. Like that's all I'm hearing is Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold, Sam Darnold. Is this a value that we need to be buying in on? Are we going to be losing out on Sam Darnold if we eventually have to draft him in round 16? I don't think so. I like drafting quarterbacks in round 18, though. I do. But people are talking about him potentially being the starter all year long. This was a team that was working with Josh Dobbs and getting it done. Like, they're saying, oh, no. Stop traffic. This is Sam Darnold's job. But is he going to keep it, Andrew? Is he going to keep it?
Sell. No. Could he start the year? Yes. That I think is a possibility.
Well, he's going to start the year.
Maybe. Oh, I think camp's going to tell that. They're going to push these guys hard because I think they want to see if JJ McCarthy can handle the pressure of it. Sam Darnold, they know can, but he's not good, dude. He's not good. Come on, man.
Preaching
he
to the
could start
choir.
the year. Yeah, he could start the year, but is he going to play more than 4, 5, 6 games? Nah. So really, you're drafting McCarthy as a guy who's going to be playing at the end of the year. Maybe he lucks into some games. Really, I'm only taking him if you have some really great stacks. I don't really want to touch these guys if I don't have to, but we'll see. If they definitely come out and they're like, McCarthy's the guy, he's starting. If he starts, he ain't coming off the field. What is the point of drafting a guy and then being like, nah, we're going to put in Sam Darnold? It's just not happening.
Fair enough. Again, a situation where I will go elite quarterback because, again, these are June drafts. So I'll go elite quarterback, and then I'll bring back around to my last 2 picks, McCarthy and Darnold.
Do not do that. Why would you want to do that?
I'll do it.
Like, this is probably the second or third worst QB situation in the NFL. Why? Don't know. Absolutely not.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
Justin Jefferson.
Come on, brother. Don't do this. I want to see you win some money. Don't do that.
I want to win some money like that. You're
what
if
bold,
I do
man.
it?
You're bold.
What if I do it Derek Carr and Taysom Hill?
That makes sense to me. At least Taysom Hill
doesn't put up quarterback stats. He puts up running back and tight end stats.
At least if he fucking puts 2 or 3 touchdowns in on the ground, that makes sense.
What's the difference between Justin Fields and Taysom Hill? What? Taysom Hill can tackle?
It's so let's look at their last 3 games here. New Orleans, Washington, Green Bay, and Vegas. Much better than what Pittsburgh rolls out with Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Kansas City.
You got me there. You got me there on the schedule of the argument. You got me there. You're so right. You're so right. That's very intricate to the conversation. You're totally correct. All right, let's move on to the Texans. We have every NFL team to go through. Dameon Pierce, round 17. Noah Brown, round 18. Jahar Jordan, round 18. It's Dame
Yes,
Pierce
yes,
or
no.
die.
Dame
Yes,
Pierce,
no.
Noah Brown. I'm actually okay taking a shot on Noah Brown. Not a lot,
Are
but
you taking
okay.
Robbie Trees too? Are you taking Bob
No,
Trees?
no.
No.
Love Bobby Trees, but no, sorry, brother. But really, it is just Dame Pierce for me.
I didn't know
Unless we
you were
see
taking
something.
Noah Brown. That's
I
interesting.
I actually have taken him, I think, twice. Again,
Interesting.
it's on a Texans either correlation, friendship strategy, or stack with Stroud. Not taking him naked. There, obviously no reason to do so. But yeah, I actually do think Dame Pierce very good value. They've talked him up a couple times already. GM,
Yeah.
CEO, everybody's come out and said, we want to get him more involved. He was great as a rookie, fell off a little bit last year, obviously. But we'll see. But I do like Pierce.
They also have Xavier Hutchinson. They've got Robert Woods.
No,
Probably
no.
got
Oh, you're gonna
somebody
say
else.
John Mechie? Get out of here! Stop it.
Is he still there? Him
I
too?
think so. I think so.
Him too? Yeah. He had
Yeah.
cancer, bro. They're always
Uh,
trying to get the guy who had cancer the ball. You know
sure.
this. You know
Sure.
this.
Yeah. That works
Anyways,
for James Conner. Nobody else.
Dame Pierce or die. Great value for Dame Pierce right now in round 17. I understand he had a bad year last year. Awful, right? But it's round 17, and he's the running back 2 in a fantastic offense. I mean, the running
Yeah.
back 3 for the Dolphins has already gone off the board. But now the running back 2 is available. Just erase the name, Dameon Pierce, and it's like, oh, hey, it's the running back 2 in this awesome offense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
cool.
high floor with an injury or 0 points on a weekly basis, probably.
Yeah, but as your 5th or your 6th running back,
Oh, yeah.
hello,
Fine.
thank you.
Fine.
Colts, Indianapolis. We've got Jelani Woods, all round 18 here. All round 18. Jelani Woods, Evan Hall, Trey Sermon, Alec Pierce. Do not see Trey Sermon or Alec Pierce getting drafted. I actually see more Evan Hall drafted than Jelani Woods. I was on the Evan Hall train a little while. I got a few shares, especially when I drafted Jonathan Taylor. But that's it. Only when I drafted Jonathan Taylor, typically.
Well, you definitely want to draft Evan Hall because he tore his MCL 5 days ago.
Oh, ouch. Well,
yeah.
he gone.
Not good. Don't want to do that. Yeah.
Still haven't seen Trey Sermon go.
If anybody is watching this and thinking of drafting Hall, don't. This is why you click them in Underdog when they have a little note there just to see what it is. Says key knee injury included torn MCL. That was 5 days ago. Steer clear. So actually Trey Sermon is interesting to me now because he is the 2 there. I actually drafted him in that Pug Superflex because I got really pushed out at running back, and I did take him as my last running back, Trey Sermon. So I'm fine doing that. I don't want to take Pierce. I think he's well down the depth chart now, at least wide receiver 4 on the team. Don't want that. And Jelani Woods is interesting, man. I think he has the athleticism to be good. It's will they use him where a tight end should be used in the red zone? I don't think so because they have Jonathan Taylor and they have Anthony Richardson. So they're going to want to run the ball a lot.
They don't use him with any volume whatsoever. He is only a red zone. He is completely touchdown or die.
I think he's wasted. They're wasting him a little bit. But anyway, so I'll take him in a stack, but that's it. No Evan Hall, please. PSA. Do not draft him.
Rest in peace, my 3 shares of Evan Hall. Haven't taken him in a while, so I definitely missed that update. But no, there was a minute people were taking him up until round 15. It was getting out of hand. All right, next up here we have the Jaguars. Again, not a lot of opportunity here. Tank Bigsby or die in round 18. Not interested in Parker Washington. Tank Bigsby, great pick for your 5th or your 6th running back. Again, very similar situation to Dameon Pierce with the Texans. Good offense, and you got the RB2 in the last round. Very good value there. Not very great stacking opportunities back here, but some good value in Tank Bigsby. Anything else to add there?
Nope. Yeah, draft Bigsby. I think he is going to have a better year.
Titans. Very exciting group here, especially these top 3. Will Levis, round 16 with Chigakonkwo. Tyler Boyd in round 17. Traylon Burks, may he rest in peace, but still collecting that 215 ADP for round 18. Somebody out there has got a hope. Somebody out there has got a prayer for this young man to make special teams and for 1, 2, 3 injuries to happen for him to have a role. It's not us. Will Levis, my most exposed quarterback right now. Huge value. Getting an offensive coordinator that's going to want to pass the ball a lot. Getting running backs that fulfill the necessity to continue passing the ball. Guys with speed, guys that pass, or guys that catch the ball out of the backfield with efficiency. And then adding in a veteran in Tyler Boyd as your third receiver here. I've gotten the Levis, Chig, Boyd stack probably more times than I should, but it's typically because I have Calvin Ridley already drafted. I have a lot of Calvin Ridley, so I'm constantly getting him backed up with Levis. But this is one of the more valuable late round team stacking opportunities, in my opinion, because I think that the Titans are going to be good. I think the offense is going to be good. So I'm getting a very quality quarterback in my perception here of Will Levis. And then I'm getting a Tyler Boyd that is going to be exposed in an offense that, again, will pass the ball a lot. Chig in an offense that was starting to prioritize him some when the team was run heavy. Now they're pass heavy. And I'm hoping, again, that comes to fruition here. And again, he's at the top of the depth chart at his position. There's a clear path for Boyd or Chig, for production. So this is a very good set, the top three guys here, in my opinion.
I think the Titans are going to stink.
You stink.
Which is good.
You
which
stink.
is good. They're going to pass the ball. I agree. They are going to stink, and they are going to pass the ball a lot. So, yeah, this is a great option to stack late in the draft. I agree with everything you said. Burks, man, oh, yikes. You still see people out there like saying, like, this is it. Burks is going to get something.
This is the motivation he's been looking for.
Yeah, best of luck to you. I'll take Boyd. I'll take Chig. I'll take Levis. Easy to just wait. Again, this is another offense that you can draft Ridley or Hopkins and wait a ton to then go get Levis and, Boyd or whoever else you want to stack up in there.
Exactly. Not a lot of value here for the Atlanta Falcons. We've got Tyler Algier, Rondell Moore. Algiers, if anything, is actually a round 14 push. So if he's falling, he's getting into round 14. But Rondell Moore, round 18.
Yeah, an honorable mention because he's ADP 148. Darnell Mooney. I mean, he's right ahead of Algier.
Didn't make it.
I know, but honorable mention. He's close enough. So Mooney, I like. But yeah, Algier, I'll take a shot there. Rondale, man, I've taken him once, and that was just because I really got pushed out at wide receiver. I had Cousins. It just kind of made sense to me to do it for the build, but I don't want to if I don't really have to.
Yeah, I see Mooney going up, though. I still think that he's going to separate himself from even that round 13. Pick 148 is pick 4 of the 13th round. I'm trying to find him on this last draft that I did. He did go in round 14 in the last one. He went at 151, so quite a bit after ADP. But I'm also a person that's taking quite a bit ahead of ADP. I have zero exposure to Rondell Moore. I mean, even Kirk Cousins, he's like in round 12, maybe 11. So he's back there too. So, yeah, round 13. 13-1 is where he went in this last draft. So some value there if you could get maybe Algier, Mooney, Cousins. It makes the group a little bit more valuable. But like we're saying, they're all pushes, right? They're right on the cusp of what we're considering late round, which is the last 5 picks of the draft. So, yeah, if you consider the last 6 picks, obviously, the more picks you add to that, you're getting more value, more valuable. But very good late to mid round in Algier, Mooney, and Kirk Cousins. Another very valuable one here is the Carolina Panthers. You've got Adam Thielen, Chuba Hubbard, Bryce Young, Jatavian Sanders. These guys are all starters. I mean, Adam Thielen, say what you want. He's still the wide receiver too. Chuba Hubbard, he's going to start the season as the running back 1. Bryce Young, QB 1. Jatavian Sanders, tight end 1. I'll take all 4 if I can get them. I mean, I have no argument to it whatsoever. I've tried it a few times, and I typically get clipped. Best recommendation would still probably be to just do 3, but it's fun to try. It's fun to try to get the foursome. That's for sure. I know you don't like it. I know you don't.
No. Thielen, sorry, bud. Sorry. I mean, it just, you hit the cliff, buddy. You had a good run. You hit the cliff. You ain't being on any Raub teams. I'll tell you that right now. Hubbard, yes. Bryce Young, yeah, I'll give him a pass on last year. And definitely, I mean, fan speak central. Love Jatavian Sanders, baby. Come on down. Come home. Help me win $1.5 million. So I will take that. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a team that you don't have to spend up a ton to get something earlier in the draft and then come on down and pair it with any of these guys other than Thielen.
Again, one of my more favorable late round team stacking opportunities. Panthers and Titans, I think so far of who we've covered are like my top choices. Saints are right there as well. It was because I was drafting a lot of Juwan Johnson. Now he obviously did get hurt as well. That was not great for me. Could potentially be back by the start of the season, if not early part of the season. So I'm holding out for some better news in the upcoming months. But still, Derek Carr, nice late round stacking opportunity with A.T. Perry. Taysom Hill, not a good situation because he is designated as a quarterback. And then Jamal Williams, who no one is taking, but let's not forget what he was able to do a couple of seasons ago. I think he is more of a valuable asset for them in the red zone if he were to get opportunities. But the more of a realization that I'm getting, or more thought process I'm going through for the Saints, is that Taysom Hill is just going to be the running back too on this roster, and whatever else they ask him to do. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Kendra Miller.
Stop.
Sorry.
Get the fuck out of here.
Now,
is he going to be annoying?
They're going to milk everything they can out of Taysom Hill. They're going to continue to milk everything they can out of him.
Sure, but he's not going to be the better running back too. Stop that now.
I didn't say he's going to be better. I said they were going to use him as the running back.
We need a bit button.
Put those words in my mouth.
We need a bit button. Something that when someone says a bit, you hit it and it just goes bonk, something like that. Like, no, stop that nonsense.
I'm Bear Claw.
Jawan, yeah, I mean, it does say he's going to need foot surgery. Possibly could be there, but man, with a foot injury like that, I don't know, man. I think it's going to be probably.
If I get him for the back half of the season, I'm okay. But again, I'm holding on optimism. You can hear me knocking down wood that he's available to start the season.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold out optimism. And I just checked because I had not looked yet. Thank God I only drafted him twice.
Oh, I have so much of Juwan Johnson.
Dodge that bullet. Derek Carr, though, I mean, I agree. I mean, fine stack. 18 Perry, you're a little higher on him than I am personally, but I see why you like him. The downfield ability is there.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. And honestly, Taysom, somebody wants to take a shot as your QB3 on your team. I'm not going to hate it just because of how they are probably going to use him. Jamal Williams, I love you, bud. You are awesome. But
look at that face.
I'm not taking that shot personally.
How can you say no to that face?
Yeah, he gave us some. He gave us the electric, the ooh in the end zone, but nah.
Sorry. All right, next up, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Bucky Irving, round 15, with Baker and Cade Otton in round 15. Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer rounding out in the 18th round here. Really, Trey Palmer is the only guy I haven't taken. I've been sprinkling in everybody else, and it's all with stacking consideration. This isn't a team where I'm targeting them, a lot of these options naked, unless they're Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. If I'm getting Irving, I'm probably also getting Cade Otton. If I'm getting Baker back here, I don't hate getting Cade as well. This is one of my more favorable, quarterback tight end late round stacks. Being able to do so in round 15, 16, 16, 17, whatever type of fall I might get there, I absolutely love it. I don't have a ton of confidence in Bucky Irving, but the public and it seems like the draft capital was enough to juice him up the board. I'm kind of surprised how high he is in comparison to, like we've kind of talked about, like a Dane Pierce, who's in a much better offense, not getting that love going in round 18. Doesn't make sense to me when Bucky Irving's up in round 15 on a team that's still going to prioritize the running back ahead of him even more. So it's kind of weird to me, a bit of a misprice, but I've taken a little bit of them when stacking, and Jalen McMillan is just a sprinkle on some Buccaneer stacks.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken a bunch of Baker, a bunch of Otton, some McMillan, no Palmer so far. I'll probably sprinkle them in a little bit, and I have taken a couple Bucky Irvings, not a lot though, because that price is not exactly where I would think it should be. I agree with you on that. The interesting thing that I really like about Tampa is that their playoff schedule is kind of it's a little hard, but it's cool because they play 2 games indoors and then finish with Carolina. So I
was going to say Carolina's a good matchup.
Yeah. That's a good matchup. They play at the Chargers. That could be tough. But a dome. At Dallas, that's probably going to be tough and in a dome. And then they play Carolina at home, and that's a soft matchup. So I do like their playoff schedule.
Yeah, I was going to say I like it. I would say this group average value as far as team stackability. You have a starting QB and a starting tight end. and maybe some late round opportunities if you really nail Irving or McMillan, Palmer, whichever.
Yeah.
Woo, tons of value here. Tons of value here with the Broncos. Another top option I've been rolling with recently. Jalil McLaughlin, round 14 with Troy Franklin. Marvin Mims Jr., round 15. Bo Nix, round 18. Audric Estime, round 18. And Greg Dulcich as well back there. Been getting a lot of Jalil McLaughlin and Marvin Mims Jr. That's been a late round stack option that I've been rolling with pretty frequently here. You can get them paired up pretty easily with the Bengals for round 17 as well if you want to do some week 17 correlation. Very little Franklin, no Bo Nix, no Estime, and maybe 1 or 2 shares of Dulcich. Again, just kind of a sprinkle to any other Broncos that I've drafted already. If I've gotten Sutton or Jalil or Javante, just a little extra splash, a little extra cube of ice there, and Greg Dulcich.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. McLaughlin has looked awesome so far, and everything that you read is glowing reviews, right? So fine. I like Franklin more than Mims, and last year I liked Mims a lot. It just didn't pan out for him. But with Bo Nix and Troy Franklin already playing together, that really makes me like Franklin more. So I'm taking the Franklin side of that. Estime did just have a knee scope. Said that here it says knee scope last week. He's expected to be ready for training camp. He's expected to rehab the knee though a little bit, so we'll see what happens there. And honestly, man, like I don't really want to take Dulcich. It's fine. Don't really want
Starting
it,
tight end.
but as I
Starting
mean,
tight end.
yeah. I mean, our discussion here is people you can get late and stack. It's a
Or
fine stack. I just don't
is the
want it.
starting tight end Adam Troutman?
Or maybe it's a guy that's not even on the team yet. We'll see.
Jimmy Graham. Get him a job.
I mean, hey, Sean Payton knows how to use them.
Your boy, the Chief.
Yes,
Your
yes.
boy.
Take again fits our mold with Dame Pierce, and we'll talk about Elijah Mitchell coming up too. But yes, just take the shot. Is he probably going to pan out? Probably not. We always
Probably
hope for it, right? But as a first round pick, a guy what was that 6 years ago now, 5 years ago? I'm it's fine. You could do way worse. I'm fine with this.
No comment. The Raiders, lots of options here. A whole dang team. Alexander Madison, Gardner Minshew, Dylan Lobb, Michael Mayer, Trey Tucker, Aiden O'Connell, all in round 18. All in round 18. Now, options probably going ahead of that. Probably Minshew, maybe Madison, if a board's getting a little bit more aggressive. I have not taken Trey Tucker. I did take Trey Tucker in the big board with a Devontae Adams stack. I've taken at least 1 share of everybody else, though. And this is a situation where I did, again, Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell in the last round, paired up with Joe Burrow in the first, or is my elite QB here. This is, again, along with the Titans and the Panthers, probably one of my more favorite later round team stacking options I like. Madison and Minshew, Mayer and Minshew, just bringing Minshew back into a round 2 pick of Devontae Adams. I'm not big on the Raiders, but I'm big on the value of the Raiders this year. What I'm getting from shopping their ADP prices. So I like this group a lot here. And again, I haven't taken Trey Tucker in Best Ball Mania yet, but I am not opposed. He actually looked pretty good when filling in on the field. He looks like he seemed to know the offense well. Shifty receiver. I'm not sure what that means, with his potential connection for O'Connell and Minshew, but someone I'm willing to give a fair look if the stacking opportunity is right. So really no opposition to any of these guys here.
I've only taken Michael Mayer from this group.
All of them? Wow.
Yes, only Michael Mayer. I've not taken anybody else here. Also, how dare you spell Dylan Labe's name wrong?
Without
There
a
should be an
knee?
E at the end.
It's disrespectful. It took me a while to find this picture too. You can't see it in here, but that picture was not easy to find. Maybe it's because I was searching for Dylan Loeb. Instead of Labe.
I know you're taking Gardner, and you've kind of already cited that. I'm not touching them until we actually see who the starter is. Then I will. Probably not taking Madison. I'd rather just take Dylan. But I agree with you on Trey Tucker. I mean, he was definitely a viable fill-in last year. You could do worse as somebody to stack back here. So I'm fine with that as well. But yeah, I'm not touching these quarterbacks until we actually figure out which one. I'm not wasting a pick on taking one or the other, and then they never see the field. I just don't want to do that right now. So I'm waiting.
Fair enough. Next up, we've got the Chargers going into, I think, our last division here. We got a fair amount of players: Kamani Vidal, J.K. Dobbins, DJ Chark, Hayden Hurst, Brendan Rice, and Donald Parham. Going from rounds 14 through 18, with a majority of players in round 18. Kamani Vidal definitely getting some gas up the board, getting a little bit more popularity. A little bit of talk of Gus Edwards, still being injured. Is he going to be ready for training camp? All the staff is saying yes, but I think that that's giving a little bit more life to Kamani's current cost. Same thing with J.K. Dobbins. There's the uncertainty because of a return from injury and just the uncertainty of how everybody's going to get used. And obviously, he's going to have more sour taste in drafters' mouths. I'm okay taking shots with any combination of the receivers and tight ends back here. You really just got to believe that there's something left after Palmer, Johnston, and McConkey. I'm feeling that there probably will be, at least for a couple of spike weeks. But for me, like I've told you on prior live shows, it's DJ Chark, just because I know what he can do in the deep field in the secondary. He can be that guy that opens up the second level, and you have a Herbert back there that's going to be itching for some deep field plays. I just don't think that you're going to find a lot of those from a Palmer or a Lad McConkey. You're probably looking at Chark and Quentin Johnston for a lot of those shots.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you're saying there. I'm not much of a chart guy personally. I think I'd rather take the shot on Brendan Rice. That teach his own on that though. Uh, the tight end situation's so weird there. I really don't know what to think of that yet. I kind of like Parham just because they've used him in the red zone already. Again, maybe touchdown hunting, you want to take that approach, but I'm fine taking Vidal, Vidal or Dobbins.
Mm-hmm.
Just taking a shot on this offense with the expectation that they're going to run the ball a lot. I'm fine taking either of those guys as well. So yeah, I mean, kind of wait and see approach for me on the bottom four guys. But Dobbins and Vidal, I'm fine taking either one.
Arizona, not a lot of options here. We've got Michael Wilson, Zay Jones, Greg Dortch from rounds 15, 17, and 18. I mean, we talked about this before. Wilson and Dortch, they've caught the eye of Kyler Murray at times. Zay Jones, he's a veteran. I mean, who just take your pick here. Who's going to be the next guy up after Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride? That's is really, again, that's your bet. I don't think that there's a definitive answer. I think it's just 1 week to the next. Someone's going to be playing third fiddle, and it's going to be one of these guys. We've seen Michael Wilson flash. We've seen Kyler Murray talk up both of those guys, Dortch and Wilson, and we've seen what Zay Jones can do in a secondary role. With the Jaguars, he was good there. He did put up good production for them, playing behind their top guys. So it's really just a bet. I really don't have a preference here. I want to say Greg Dortch. Maybe it's just because of success that I've had with him in like weird formats like Dynasty and Redraft. But I have no objection to any of them. And also probably just Greg Dortch because of the value. Like I just, I take my shot with the guy that I don't have to spend very, very much on. With the Rams here, it's Robinson. I don't know. They could add someone at tight end. I'm not sure. And then Tutu Atwell is really not on my radar.
Yeah, and they have some other guys.
Davis Allen.
I'll say let me pull up their depth chart. I just want to see how they have them listed right now. Tight end. So they still have Higbee up top. Obviously he's probably not going to start the year. But Higbee's interesting only because you can get him late, and he's probably going to be the guy at when he comes back at the end of the season for them potentially. So he's interesting. But then they have Parkinson listed second, Davis Allen third currently. So we'll see how that the 2-3 there kind of pan out. Again, all these guys more of a wait and see for your boy personally. Sean McVay already shows us year after year what he wants to do. He wants to use his top two guys, his top running back, and then usually the top tight end, which that's yet to be determined, I believe. So more of a wait and see approach on the back half of the Rams depth chart here.
I'll take a shot with Demarcus Robinson if I have a Cup or if I have a Puka or some Arizona Cardinals. You're getting him in week 17 in a dome. I like that. Almost done here. Second to last up, we've got the 49ers, Elijah Mitchell, Isaac Guerrero, Juwan Jennings, and Jacob Cowing. Not really seeing a lot of these guys get drafted other than Elijah Mitchell. You're obviously just taking Mitchell for the exposure to the offense. Very important handcuff behind CMC, but I do not see these other guys getting drafted. How about you?
I think I've seen Jawan Jennings maybe taken like twice. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't look at the team to see if it has any kind of correlation or a Purdy stack, something of that nature. But yeah, Mitchell, definitely agree. He's a guy that's either going to get you about no points, or if McCaffrey gets hurt, he could be extremely valuable. So I like taking the shot on Mitchell, but we'll see what the camp battle looks like too. I could potentially be persuaded into taking whoever the third guy definite is, going into August. So that's yet to
Jordan
be
Mason.
determined. And that's somebody could be. I mean, it's God knows. I mean, we know that Shanahan likes to take a running back and then make them either good or they become TDP and never see the field really. So yet to be determined there, but I will take the shot on Mitchell for sure.
All right, and last up here we've got the Seahawks: Geno Smith, Noah Fant, Sam Howell, Jake Bobo. Howell and Bobo aren't getting drafted, but they're very fun players. They're very, very fun players. Jake Bobo gets red zone carries if you
Love
forget.
Hal. Damn it, I love Hal. Said he was
Geno
going to be a
Smith.
QB1 last year. He was QB12 on the season.
He was, and you did nail it. Geno Smith, Noah Fant, last ditch effort to get a quarterback and tight end stack does not excite me whatsoever. And again, just a last ditch effort for a QB, just as simple as it is.
Yeah, agreed. It's fine. And again, another quarterback that you can take Metcalf or Lockett, and then wait a bunch and take Geno if you really want to. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you taking any How before the season's over? I mean,
I
before
have.
the before the
I've
offseason.
already taken like
Oh,
a
interesting.
share. I've taken a single share of
Okay,
Sam Howell.
that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I would also potentially take a shot on How just because I think that he's probably better than Geno, but it's whatever. Wait and see approach.
Mhm. So yeah, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Panthers were definitely my top late round team stack opportunities. Were there any of significant note for you?
Titans. Yeah, keep rolling through them here. I mean, the Ravens too are interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Walker, Bateman, and then pick your poison of the running backs there, I guess.
Right.
I think I have
Giants
a
are pretty up there too.
They're fine.
To me, I'm just not as so certain with their running backs. Like with the Panthers, I know I'm getting a very good talent in Chubb Hubbard. With the Titans, I don't get running backs there, but I get a very good talent in Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. Oh, also the Jets. Yes,
Jets
that
pretty
was the other
solid
team I
too.
like. Yep.
Just less options there. I still think the Patriots are a little bit more value just because their draft percentage is going to be so much lower. Like Drake May isn't going in every draft. Javon Baker isn't going in every draft. It's you get a little bit more leverage there. But no, that was very fun. Appreciate you guys, watching all the video. Be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow the channel, the Fanspeak Network. We are going to head out. We'll be back with another live draft this upcoming Thursday. Take care, be well, be good. And if you can't be good, Andrew,
Be good at it.
there you go. There it is. We'll see you.